Most people spend more money on what they put on their skin than what they put into their body. Yet here is the biological truth. Your skin is not built from creams. It is built from amino acids, essential fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals delivered through your bloodstream. In fact, the outermost layer of your skin is largely dead tissue. No topical product can travel backward into your dermis and command your fibroblasts to manufacture structurally sound collagen in the way nutrient signaling from food can. Here is what the research shows. Collagen production declines steadily after your mid-20s. By your 40s and 50s, the rate of collagen breakdown often outpaces synthesis. What is happening in your body when this occurs is not cosmetic, it is biochemical. Fibroblast cells reduce output, oxidative stress increases. Chronic low-level inflammation accelerates matrix degradation. The result is thinner skin, less elasticity, slower wound healing, and the visible markers we call aging. But here's the empowering part. Your skin is a metabolic organ. It responds to internal nutrient availability, inflammatory signaling, and hormonal balance. That means you can influence it from the inside out. There is one specific food that delivers the precise building blocks required for collagen synthesis, glycine balance, and dermal repair in a way most anti-aging creams simply cannot replicate. Today, we are going to break down the neuroscience and physiology behind skin aging, the role of amino acids like glycine and proline, how inflammation silently erodes collagen, and the simple protocol you can use daily to rebuild skin integrity from within. By the end, you will understand not only what to eat, but why it works at the cellular level and how to implement it in a way that supports your brain, joints, and overall longevity alongside your skin. Because anti-aging is not about surface correction. Collagen is often treated like a cosmetic buzzword, but biologically, it is the most abundant structural protein in your body. It makes up the scaffolding of your skin, tendons, ligaments, and even parts of your vasculature. If you zoom in at the microscopic level, collagen fibers form a woven mesh beneath the surface of your skin that gives it firmness, elasticity, and resilience. Here is what the research shows. Studies published in journals such as the Journal of Investigative Dermatology demonstrate that fibroblast cells are responsible for synthesizing collagen inside the dermis. These cells require specific amino acids, primarily glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. Without an adequate supply of these building blocks, collagen production slows, not metaphorically. Biochemically, what is happening in your body when collagen declines is straightforward but profound. Fibroblasts reduce output, matrix metalloproteinases, enzymes that break down collagen, become more active under oxidative stress. The result is a thinning extracellular matrix. Visually, this shows up as fine lines, reduced elasticity, and slower tissue repair. Now here is the critical insight. Most modern diets are rich in muscle meats, such as chicken breast or steak. These are high in methionine and other amino acids, but relatively low in glycine. Glycine is disproportionately concentrated in connective tissue, skin, tendons, ligaments, and bone matrix. Historically, humans consumed the entire animal, including these collagen-rich tissues. Today, we largely discard them. This creates an imbalance. Have you ever noticed how people may consume high amounts of protein yet still experience joint discomfort, slow recovery, or early skin thinning? It is not always about total protein, it is about amino acid composition. The one food that directly addresses this imbalance is bone broth made from slow-simmered connective tissue and bones. When prepared properly, bone broth releases collagen, gelatin, glycosaminoglycans, and the specific amino acids required for dermal repair. When you consume bone broth, digestive enzymes break collagen down into peptides and free amino acids. These circulate in the bloodstream. Fibroblasts detect amino acid availability. When glycine and proline levels rise, collagen synthesis signaling pathways are stimulated, particularly in the presence of vitamin C, which acts as a necessary cofactor. A simple tool to apply is this: consume 1 serving of high-quality bone broth daily, ideally paired with a vitamin C source such as citrus or bell peppers. This ensures that the collagen building process is not limited by micronutrient availability. Think of it like construction. Collagen is the steel framework of your skin. Creams may polish the exterior, but if there is no steel arriving at the construction site, no amount of polishing can rebuild the structure. You can supply all the glycine and proline in the world, but if chronic inflammation is elevated, your body activates enzymes that actively dismantle collagen fibers faster than you can rebuild them. Here is what the research shows. Ultraviolet exposure, poor sleep, high sugar intake, and psychological stress increase inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. These molecules activate matrix metalloproteinases. These enzymes degrade collagen in the dermal layer. This process has been well documented in dermatological research, including studies observing photoage skin and inflammatory skin conditions. What is happening in your body when this occurs is not just surface-level damage. Inflammatory signaling shifts your fibroblasts into a defensive state. Instead of prioritizing growth and repair, they respond to perceived threat. Oxidative stress increases. Reactive oxygen species damage cellular structures, including lipid membranes and proteins. Have you noticed how your skin looks duller after periods of poor sleep or psychological strain? That is not imagination. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, when chronically elevated, impairs collagen synthesis and increases breakdown. In other words, stress literally imprints on your skin. This is why anti-aging must be approached metabolically, not cosmetically. Now here is where bone broth does something uniquely powerful. Beyond collagen peptides, properly prepared bone broth contains glycine in meaningful amounts. Glycine is not just a structural amino acid, it also modulates inflammation. Research published in nutritional biochemistry literature shows glycine can reduce inflammatory signaling and improve antioxidant capacity. A simple tool to apply is this: replace one inflammatory food source per day with a collagen-rich glycine-supporting alternative. For example, instead of a late evening sugary snack, consume a warm cup of bone broth. This not only supplies building blocks, but may also support parasympathetic activation, promoting better sleep, and better sleep further reduces inflammatory signaling. Notice the compounding effect. Less inflammation means fewer matrix-degrading enzymes. Fewer degrading enzymes mean more net collagen retention. More retention plus adequate building blocks equals structural improvement over time. You can be eating what appears to be a high-protein, health-conscious diet and still be accelerating structural aging if the amino acid ratios are skewed. Here is what the research shows. Muscle meats, such as chicken breast, turkey, and lean beef, are high in methionine. Methionine is an essential amino acid and absolutely necessary for methylation, detoxification, and cellular function. However, when consumed in high amounts without adequate glycine, it increases the demand on metabolic pathways that regulate inflammation and oxidative balance. Animal studies from institutions such as the University of Southern California have demonstrated that methionine restriction can extend lifespan in multiple species. The mechanism appears related to reduced oxidative stress and improved metabolic signaling. But the key insight is not that methionine is harmful, it is that balance matters. Historically, humans consumed nose to tail. That means not just muscle tissue, but skin, tendons, cartilage, and bone matrix. These tissues are disproportionately rich in glycine. Glycine helps buffer the metabolic load created by methionine. It also supports glutathione production, one of the body's most powerful endogenous antioxidants. What is happening in your body when glycine intake is chronically low is subtle but cumulative. Oxidative stress rises, inflammatory tone increases, collagen degradation outpaces synthesis, skin becomes thinner, less elastic, slower to heal. Have you ever noticed individuals who eat large amounts of lean protein yet struggle with dry skin or joint discomfort? Again, it is not necessarily about protein quantity, it is about structural completeness. Bone broth provides a practical correction. It shifts the amino acid profile toward a more ancestral balance. It supplies glycine in a context that mirrors how connective tissue was traditionally consumed. A simple framework to apply is this. Number 1, maintain adequate total protein intake based on body weight and activity. Number 2, for every significant serving of muscle meat, include a connective tissue source such as bone broth or slow-cooked cuts that contain collagen. Number 3, pair collagen intake with vitamin C-rich foods to optimize hydroxylation, a critical step in stabilizing collagen fibers. This is not about dietary extremism, it is about architectural precision. If you are finding value in this deeper breakdown of how nutrition influences structure at the cellular level, consider subscribing to the channel. My aim is not surface-level advice, it is mechanistic clarity translated into action. Ask yourself, are you constructing your body with complete materials, or are you overemphasizing one component of the blueprint? You are not what you eat, you are what you absorb. You can consume glycine-rich bone broth every day, but if your gut lining is inflamed, your microbiome is disrupted, or your digestive enzymes are compromised, the delivery system breaks down. Here is what the research shows. The integrity of the intestinal barrier directly influences systemic inflammation and nutrient transport. When tight junctions in the gut lining become compromised, a phenomenon sometimes referred to as increased intestinal permeability, inflammatory molecules can enter circulation. This elevates baseline inflammatory tone and impairs tissue repair throughout the body, including the skin. What is happening in your body when gut integrity is weakened is a ripple effect. Inflammatory cytokines rise, cortisol may increase, nutrient absorption efficiency decreases, and fibroblasts in your dermis receive weaker signals and fewer raw materials. This is where bone broth again plays a dual role. Properly prepared bone broth contains gelatin, glutamine, and glycosaminoglycans. Glutamine serves as a primary fuel source for enterocytes, the cells that line your small intestine. Gelatin can support mucosal integrity. Several studies in nutritional physiology have shown that glutamine supplementation may help reinforce the intestinal barrier in certain contexts of stress or injury. Have you ever noticed how your digestion feels calmer when you consume warm, simple foods compared to heavily processed meals? That subjective experience often reflects real physiological shifts. Simpler meals reduce digestive strain, allowing better absorption. A simple tool to apply is this. Number 1. Consume bone broth on an empty stomach or between meals 2 to 3 times per week to reduce digestive competition and enhance absorption. Number 2. Pair it with fermented foods such as yogurt or naturally fermented vegetables to support microbiome diversity. Number 3. Protect sleep. Because sleep deprivation disrupts gut microbiota composition and elevates inflammatory signaling, indirectly impairing collagen synthesis. And if this deeper systems-level understanding is resonating with you, consider liking the video. It signals that this type of evidence-based, practical breakdown is valuable, and it helps the channel reach others who are trying to rebuild their health intelligently. Ask yourself this: are you feeding your body or are you actually nourishing it? Here is what the research shows. Collagen synthesis is not constant throughout the day. It is influenced by circadian biology, mechanical loading, hormonal signaling, and nutrient availability. Growth hormone release during deep sleep supports tissue repair. Resistance training stimulates fibroblast activity and increases collagen turnover. Vitamin C availability determines whether newly formed collagen fibers are stable and cross-linked properly. What is happening in your body when you combine these factors strategically is powerful synergy. Mechanical tension from training signals demand. Amino acids from food provide supply. Deep sleep amplifies repair. When demand and supply align, net tissue remodeling improves. So here is the simple daily framework. Number 1, mechanical signal. 2 to 4 times per week, perform resistance training that loads large muscle groups. This does not have to be extreme. It can be bodyweight squats, push movements, or resistance bands. What matters is tension. When tissue experiences load, fibroblasts upregulate collagen production pathways. Number 2, strategic intake. Within 1 to 2 hours after training, consume 1 serving of bone broth paired with a vitamin C source. This aligns amino acid availability with heightened tissue remodeling signals on non-training days. Consume bone broth in the evening. Glycine may support parasympathetic activation, helping transition into deeper sleep, which further enhances overnight repair. Number 3, inflammation control. Reduce refined sugar intake, prioritize whole foods, and aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Chronic sleep restriction elevates cortisol and impairs collagen synthesis. Even modest improvements in sleep duration have measurable effects on skin barrier function. Number 4, consistency over intensity. Collagen remodeling is gradual. Visible changes may take 8 to 12 weeks. The key is daily exposure to the right signals rather than short bursts of extreme intervention. Think of this as infrastructure maintenance. You are not applying a temporary cosmetic correction, you are improving the internal architecture of your skin. And this is empowering because it shifts you from consumer to constructor. Ask yourself, what if aging is less about decline and more about cumulative signaling? What if each meal, each night of sleep, each training session is either reinforcing structure or eroding it? When you consistently deliver glycine-rich nourishment, mechanical stimulus, and deep sleep, you give your body the conditions it evolved to thrive under. Skin aging is not primarily a cosmetic issue. It is a structural issue. Collagen declines when fibroblasts lack raw materials, when inflammation is elevated, when amino acid ratios are skewed, when gut absorption is impaired, and when sleep and mechanical stimulus are insufficient. Here is what we covered. You learned that collagen is built internally from specific amino acids, especially glycine and proline. You saw how chronic inflammation activates enzymes that degrade collagen faster than you can rebuild it. You understood how modern diets often overload methionine from muscle meat without balancing glycine from connective tissue sources. We explored how gut integrity determines whether nutrients actually reach your skin. And finally, we laid out a practical protocol that aligns mechanical tension, nutrient timing, and sleep to support collagen synthesis. This is not anti-cream. Topical care has value for barrier protection and hydration, but it is incomplete without internal construction. The one food we discussed, bone broth, is not magic. It is strategic. It supplies amino acids that modern diets often underdeliver. It supports gut integrity. It may reduce inflammatory tone, and when combined with training and deep sleep, it becomes part of a systems-level intervention. So here is your challenge. For the next 12 weeks, implement one simple tool. Consume one daily serving of collagen-rich bone broth paired with a vitamin C source, and combine it with consistent resistance training 2 to 4 times per week. Track your sleep, reduce one inflammatory input from your diet, observe your skin, energy, and recovery. Approach it like a controlled experiment, because you are not trying to look younger for a moment. You are trying to build stronger tissue for decades. If this breakdown shifted the way you think about aging, let me know in the comments what tool you are going to apply first. Like the video if you found it useful, and subscribe if you want more science-driven protocols designed to upgrade your biology from the inside out. We are not chasing youth, we are building resilience. And that begins at the cellular level.